episode of Clan Generator, here with Jet Clan. Alright, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and let's get into it. Back where we were last time, we have the 4 kits. Bumble Kit, Olive Kit, Boar Kit, and Rapid Kit. Their parents are Grousejoy and Logwhisker. Now let's do the patrols. Bubble Star, Flight Feather, and Hunting Patrol. Your patrol encounters a clearing where a lot of 2 legs linger. They continue hunting undetected. Logwhisker would go out on his own. Greenleaf encourages the oak to reach its full potential. Wide and towering, and Logwhisker goes to collect a harvest of its leaves. As a basic infection-preventing herb, oak leaves are useful for nearly all the various scrapes, cuts, and injuries Logwhisker sees in the medicine den. They're always happy to bring a good crop of them back to the herb stores. Oak leaves were gathered. Jade Feather would go on another patrol with Dashshade. Hunting patrol. Dashshade spies a fat rabbit on the other side of Pounce Clan border, a tempting opportunity to be sure. But it may not be a wise decision to hunt on a different clan's territory. Proceed. Dashshade pounces without hesitation. They glance around, rabbit hanging from their muzzle. But it seems there aren't any Pounce Clan cats nearby. Dashshade trots back over to the border, their prize in tow and transgression unnoticed. Last hunting patrol for today. Your patrol comes across a squirrel. It's engrossed in nibbling at a morsel beneath a tree. Your patrol misses the squirrel as it's alerted by a bird's alarm call. Next moon. Rainclash was murdered. The culprit is unknown? Oh, dang. Okay. Gorgebramble approaches the clearing where Rainclash's body lies, cold and lifeless. Defying expectations of sympathy and grief, Gorgebramble instead curses their fallen clanmate to the dark forest where they belong. Okay. The past moon Rainclash is taking their place in StarClan. Jet Clan mourns their loss, and their clanmates will miss the spot they took up in their lives. Well, Gorgebramble does not seem like he did. Moments of their lives are shared in stories around the circle of mourners as those who were closest to them take them to their final resting place. Sad. Borkit woke up with a mild headache, but they got up to play anyways, trying to ignore the nagging pain. Next up. So it was Gorgebramble all this time. Well, he may not be the murderer, but still. It may be Gorgebramble. Anyways, let's go on patrol. Pebble Star and Flight Feather, their deputy, on a hunting patrol. As the patrol is checking the border lines, they hear an odd sound coming from a nearby bush. Flight Feather drops down into a hunting crouch, certain that a mouse must be the source of the noise. They find themselves to be correct when they pounce into the bush and return with the patrol with a tasty morsel dangling from their mouth. Okay. Logwhisker would go out with Jade Feather on a herb gathering patrol. As Logwhisker pads through Jet Clan territory with their entourage, they feel a presence join them. Logwhisker softly alerts the rest of the patrol of their visitor. With respectful nods, the patrol pauses, tucks their paws together neatly, and sits to converse with the Star Clan cat. Goldsap on a hunting patrol with Dashshade. Something skitters across the grass, catching the patrol's eyes. a little lizard. Dashshade pounces on the little creature. The night's mouthful is a great start to what that turns into a descent hunting patrol. The cicadas buzzing as the canopy shields your cats from the sun. Okay. And before we skip the moon, I just want to check everybody's relationships. Okay. Hang on. Okay. Moving on. Okay. And we will skip one moon. Health. Jet Clan does not have enough healthy medicine cats. Cats will be sick, hurt for longer, and have a higher chance of dying. Log Whisker's tail was badly injured by a falling tree. Grousejoy is healed from the strain of delivering their litter. Borkit feels relieved that the lack of pain in their head. Their headache seems to be gone away. Just want to check Flightfeather's relationships. Okay. Now it's time for some mediation with Gorgebramble. Yep, pretty good. Just gonna skim over other things. Okay. Hang on. Okay. Moving on. Pebblestar would go out with Flightfeather, their deputy, on a hunting patrol. The patrol finds a small burrow in the ground with a strange scent. They hesitate, unsure if it's worth checking. The patrol flushes a gopher out of the burrow. More fresh kill! Jadefeather, Grousejoy, hunting. As the patrol is checking the border lines, they hear an odd sound coming from a nearby bush. Jadefeather pads toward the bush to check out the noise, when a rabbit suddenly bursts out. Jadefeather is quick to react and manages to snag the rabbit before it can disappear. Goldsap, Dashshade, hunting patrol. Your patrol encounters a clearing where a lot of two legs linger. They continue hunting undetected. And time to skip 1 minute. Jet Clan does not have enough healthy medicine cats. Cats will be sick, hurt for longer, and have a higher chance of dying. Stretch Stem's head damage is healed, but the injury left them scarred. Okay. So I guess we have to find a a replacement for Log Whisker for now. Yeah, let's do Grousejoy. Switch to the medicine cat, and let's go for today. Let's see how the kits are doing, though. Bumblecit wants to take a nap. Olive Kit dreams about being a warrior. Borkit wishes other cats would stop babying them. Rapid Kit is hatching a plan to sneak out of camp and play. Wonder why Rapid Kit is doing that. Pebblestar would go out with their deputy Flightfeather on a hunting patrol. Their patrol catches the scent of a fox, but is it red or gray? Tracking it, they find a stocky gray fox feeding on a deer fawn carcass. A gray fox is unlikely to have killed the fawn this size. Pebblestar shows their strength, leading the fight against the fox. By working together and keeping it distracted, the cats harry and harass the fox until it gives up and runs. Grousejoy will go on a herb gathering patrol. Grousejoy heads out on a herb gathering patrol, searching for the evergreen, ever reliable horsetail to harvest for the herb stores. As a plant that grows without losing any of its green and leaf bare, while also having a crucial herbal use in stopping blood loss. Horsetail is a welcome sight in any well-stocked medicine cat den. Horsetail was gathered. And I think Grousejoy only knows about this because her husband is a mid cat. Moving on. Jade Feather, Goldsap, hunting. As Goldsap tears through the forest with Jade Feather, stretching their legs on a run, they spot a movement out of the corner of their eye. Goldsap skids to a halt and tries to sprint after it, but the bird they saw escapes their paws. They chatter angrily at it, and it tries to poop on them. Such is life. Jade Feather snickers at them a bit too, but it's all in good fun. Last hunting patrol. Boldly, eyes daring scratch them to say no. Dashshade suggests hunting by the two-legged dens. They're interrupted by two legs wandering through the woods a couple times, but it's a successful hunt. Okay. Jade Feather finds a kitty pet named Rain, who joins the clan. The kitty pet decides to take him a more clan-like name. Is now called Rain Acorn. Olive Kid is scolded after sneaking out of camp. I think Rapid Kid is a little bit jealous because Olive Kid got to sneak out of camp instead of Rapid Kid. Such is life. Anyways, let's move on to the mediating for today. And yes, I think that the argument that Gorgebramble had to fix was the argument between Olive Kid and Rapid Kid, because Olive Kid got to sneak out of camp. Pebble Star, Flight Feather, mediate. Let's do some patrolling. Pebble Star would go out with her deputy again on a hunting patrol. The rain seems a constant, unceasing beat, punctuating the steps of the hunting patrol as they march towards their hunting ground. But there's one less set of footsteps than there should be. Pebble Star can't see Flight Feather in the watery haze. The patrol backtracks. Flight Feather is found, huddled under a bush. They lost the path and sighted their clanmates, but sensibly remain put. It's one more obstacle in a miserable day of hunting. They return with prey, but it's exhausting and barely worth the effort. Grousejoy, Rainicorn, Herb Gathering. As Grousejoy pads through Jet Clan territory with their entourage, they feel a presence join them. The scent of a familiar pelt reaches Rainicorn's nose. They know this cat. With a friendly purr, they turn to greet their friend from beyond the grave. The rest of the patrol gives them some space. Marigold and Moss were gathered. Jade Feather, Goldsap, hunting. Your patrol comes across a squirrel. It's engrossed in nibbling a morsel behind a tree. Stealthily, Goldsap sulks forward. The squirrel has no idea what's coming, as the cat pounces on it and breaks its neck. Goldsap sends a silent thanks to Star Clan for this prey. Scratchstem and Dashshade, hunting. Your patrol catches the scent of a fox. But is it red or is it gray? Tracking it, they find a stocky gray fox feeding on a deer fawn carcass. A gray fox is unlikely to have killed a fawn this size. Your patrol fails to drive away the fox, which keeps possession of the food. However, there were no injuries. And now time to skip one moon. Log Whisker is watching with pride as Bumblepaw is named and given to Dashshade as to be an apprentice under. They know that Dashshade was a good choice. Olive Kit runs up to the front of the crowd, eager to get their new name. When they're called Olive Paw for the first time, Grousejoy and Log Whisker's voice can be heard the loudest as the clan welcomes their new apprentice. Newly made Boarpaw touches noses with their new mentor, Goldsap. Rapid Paw can't believe their apprenticeship is finally here. Nearly tripping over their paws, they scurry up to Rain Acorn, excitedly touching noses with them. Log Whisker's mangled tail seems to be fully healed. Bumblepaw has gotten a runny nose. And I guess Joy's medicine cat time is over and she's going to become a warrior cat. And time for Gorgebramble's mediating. Star and Flight Feather. Okay, moving on. Star would go out with their deputy. Oh yeah, their deputy is occupied at the moment. Okay, they would go out with Jade Feather on a hunting patrol. Oh, sorry. The lizard drops its tail, and Jade Feather dives for it. While Star pounces on the lizard, surely this counts for 2 catches. Neither of them cares much, and it's a happy afternoon hunting together. Flight Feather would go with their apprentice Olive Paw on a training patrol. The patrol wants to hold a training session for Olive Paw. They decide to focus on tree climbing. Olive Paw listens carefully as the proper techniques of tree climbing are explained. Okay. Log Whisker would go with his mate Grousejoy on a herb gathering patrol. Log Whisker goes out with a warrior escort, both for safety as they try to stock up under the clear leaf fall skies, and for carrying the capacity should they find anything. Surprisingly, Grousejoy actually starts up the conversation with them about the herbs they're looking for. Log Whisker launches into the usual spiel, but even more astonishingly, Grousejoy is actually interested and makes their heart feel lighter getting to share their knowledge and skills with someone who respects them. Bethany was gathered. Rain Acorn would go out with their apprentice Rapid Paw on a hunting patrol. Sorry, I meant to make it a training patrol. As the patrol is checking the border lines, they hear an odd sound coming from a nearby bush. Rain Acorn pads closer to the bush, intent on finding the source of the noise, only to come face to face with a skunk. The poor cat ends up stinking for a days after the unfortunate incident. Okay. Stinky. Goldsap would go out with their apprentice Boarpaw on a hunting patrol. I meant training patrol. Goldsap takes both of them out to see a big porcupine, a patrol spotted in one of the many glades of Jet Clan's forest. Boarpaw watches the big bushy lump of a creature with wide eyes, tail twitching with excitement. Goldsap points out all the cascade of spines lying flat on its hairy back as the porcupine snuffles happily around the floor's floor, sounding like a happy newborn kit in the nursery. Scratchdum would go on a hunting patrol. Scratchdum travels through the blustery wind to hunt. In a pile of leaves, they swear they could see a rat's tail. Scratchdum lunges for the rat's tail with their claws and catches the rat. They drag it back to camp with their head held high. Dashade would take their apprentice Bumblepaw on a training patrol. And that's the last patrol for today. Dashade suggests this might be a good chance to practice new fighting techniques with Bumblepaw. Unfortunately, neither cat steps up to teach, and Bumblepaw looks disappointed. What was Dashade expecting? For them to lead the training? I don't know, Bumblepaw. And now time to skip a moon. Olivepaw woke up with a mild headache, but went about their day anyway, trying to ignore the nagging pain. And that's all that happened. Okay. Now just gonna check the relationships for today. But, I think Gorgebramble, everybody's gonna think Gorgebramble did the murder of Rain Clash. So I think they're gonna corner Gorgebramble. And since they don't know for sure they'll exile the cat. But if the clan ever finds out that Gorgebramble killed Rainclash, they will send I'll just kill him. He will be sent up to the Dark Forest, the place of no stars. Anyways, let's move on with our day. Since Rain Acorn has an apprentice, I can't switch her to Mediator now. 84, 55, 50. Nobody's old enough to become a Mediator besides Rain Acorn. But you know what? I think Jade Feather has taken a lot of her days as a warrior. So she's gonna go ahead and retire and become a Mediator. Oh, I always thought it was she. It's a he. Anyways, moving on. Mediating time. Pebble Star. Flight Feather. Mediate. Okay. And now let's patrol. Pebble Star would go out with Scratch Thumb, one of the warriors, and talk about how Scratch Thumb could contribute to the clan a little bit more. Scratch Thumb is tempted to eat the prey they just caught. See, this is going to be a teaching lesson, maybe. After all, the patrol has caught enough on this hunt that they'll have trouble carrying it all back to camp. They stop for a quick snack and return to camp laden with prey for the fresh kill pile. Okay. Flight Feather would go out with their apprentice Olive Paw on a training patrol. Flight Feather suggests this might be a good chance to practice teamwork with Olive Paw. Both cats have a nice practice session, and their coordination with each other grows stronger. Flight Feather really helps Olive Paw gain confidence in working with other cats. Log Whisker would go with Grousejoy on a medicine cat patrol. Log Whisker goes out with a warrior escort, both for safety as they look sorely for needed fresh supplies that they have survived leaf bears so far. In carrying capacity, they find anything. Surprisingly, Grousejoy actually starts up a conversation with them about the herbs they're looking for. Log Whisker launches into the usual spiel, but even more astonishingly, Grousejoy is actually interested and it makes their heart feel lighter, getting to share their knowledge and skills with someone who respects them. Burdock and Ragwort were gathered. Patrol again. Rain Acorn would take their apprentice Rapid Paw on a training patrol. Rain Acorn takes them both out to see a big porcupine, a patrol spotted in one of the many glades of Jet Clan's forests. Rapid Paw watches the big, bushy lump of creature with wide eyes, tail twitching with excitement. Rain Acorn points out the cascade of spines lying flat on its hairy back as the porcupine snuffles happily around the forest floor, sounding like a happy newborn kid in the nursery. Goldsap would go out with Boarpaw on a training patrol. Goldsap suggests this might be a good chance to practice new fighting techniques with Boarpaw. Both cats have a nice practice session, with Boarpaw soaking all Goldsap's best tips and tricks. And last patrol for this moon, a training patrol. Dash Shade takes Bumblepaw out of camp to gather moss. Dash Shade patiently shows Bumblepaw the best places to gather moss and how to gather it, explaining to Bumblepaw that by doing this they will gain the muscles and strength necessary to be a great warrior. Moss was gathered. And now time to skip the moon. Dash Shade has got a yellow cough. Bumblepaw's running nose has finally stopped running. Olive Paw is relieved that the lack of pain in their head. At the lack of pain in their head. Their headache seems to have finally gone away. The medicine cat's nests have been refreshed with new moss from the herb stores. Okay. Pebble Star would go out with flight. No. Too many apprentices. On a hunting patrol. Boldly eyes daring Pebble Star to say no. Scratch Stem suggests hunting by the two-leg dance. They're interrupted by two legs wandering through the woods a couple times, but it's a successful hunt. Flight Feather would go out with their apprentice Olive Paw on a training patrol. The pair finds a nice spot to sun themselves. The pair sits down. Olive Paw a little stiffly, and Flight Feather starts telling them a story of their own apprenticehood. About the time when they made a dumb mistake. They make it sound funny, certainly funnier than it felt at the time. And slowly, Olive Paw opens up, still respectable, but less wooden in the way they act. Log Whisker would go out with his mate, Grousejoy. Log Whisker goes out with a warrior escort, both for safety as they look sorely for needed fresh supplies that have survived the leaf bear so far, and carrying capacity should they find anything. Surprisingly, Grousejoy actually starts up a conversation with them about the herbs they're looking for. Log Whisker launches into their usual spiel, but even more astonishingly, Grousejoy is actually interested and makes their heart feel lighter getting to share the knowledge and skills with someone who respects them. Dandelion was gathered. Rain Acorn would go out with Rapid Paw on a training patrol. The patrol wants to hold a training session for Rapid Paw. They decide to focus on tree climbing. Rapid Paw listens carefully as the proper techniques of tree climbing are explained. Goldsap would go out with their apprentice Boarpaw on a training patrol. Out in the forest, Goldsap asks Boarpaw if they know why Jet Clan chooses to live in the woods under the canopy rather than in any other environment. Their ancestors lived in a sheltered redwood grove, and it protected them from the elements and fed their prey and kept their kits dry. Goldsap explains, but one day Two Legs destroyed their home with fire and monsters, and the cats of that clan scattered. Some, after many trials, found a Jet Clan in a safe place that seemed familiar and safe. So that's how Jet Clan was made. Okay. And last but not least, Bumblepaw would go on a training patrol. Bumblepaw is tempted to eat the prey they just caught. After all, they're only practicing hunting, right? So this is theirs. It doesn't count as a true hunting patrol. Bumblepaw eats the prey, but later they feel terrible about it, slinking around guilty and ashamed for the rest of the day. I'll skip one last moon. Olive Paw was helping reinforce the camp walls when they got a thorn stuck in their paw. As the herb stores are inspected by the medicine cat, it's noticed that all of the horsetail went bad. They'll have to replace it with new ones. But this is where I'm going to end it off here today. So if you like this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. See ya!